Hello and welcome to what I hope will be the first of a number of interviews here at Oughtibridge Parish Church with members of the church family. And today we're going to be getting to know Mariia and Yeva a little bit, hearing something of their story and how God has been at work bringing them to faith in the Lord Jesus over the last couple of years. So Mariia and Yeva, can you begin just by telling us a little bit about yourselves?
Hello, my name is Mariia. This is my daughter Yeva. We original from Ukrainian, and we come here, move in Oughtibridge in England in 2022 when the war started in Ukraine.
Great.
Yeah, and I'm in year 8 in Notre Dame School, Catholic. Yeah.
Great. Brilliant. Now, you mentioned that you moved here after the outbreak of the war between Russia and Ukraine, which has obviously had a huge impact on your lives. And so I wonder whether we can go back to the 24th of February 2022, the day that the war began. And Mariia, can you tell us about that day? Did you have a sense that it was coming? And what was it like when it did?
It's interesting back to this day because it's nobody really thought it will be happen like full invasion. We understand it was a war in when it started 2014 in a Donbas region, but really full invasion nobody expect that. And yeah, 24th of February we just get up from call. My ex-husband, he was a policeman, and his colleague just called him and say, yeah, the tanks in Kiev, and we start to think about that more what we need to do step by step, and we just do what we need to do. We're not panic. We understand, just need to understand what the next steps, like what we need to have now, like petrol, cash, and basic thing. And we move somewhere, we want to move somewhere or not, and discuss all that. But of course, it was first like a shock because nobody expect that.
Yeah, yeah. And Yeva, you would have been 10 or so, right? Yeah. Do you remember much from that day? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I do remember it a bit. I remember that I overslept, and I had time. It's like I didn't wake up at the time I usually wake up, and I realized I woke up because of my mom and dad were calling everybody, and I was really confused at that time. I went to my mom's and dad's bedroom and asked like what happened, and mom just said that your classes are in Zoom right now, so you should just go and eat your breakfast and join the Zoom class. I said like sure, eat my breakfast, and before my Zoom class started, my mom just started to talk to me, and she told me that like the war started, kind of, and that you should like pick up after like your classes and all that stuff. But then when I joined Zoom, there were no teacher, so I started to pick up straight away.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And did you have a sense that that was coming? Were you expecting the war, or was it completely out the blue for you?
Well, I kind of was expected it because a lot of people were talking about it, a lot of gossip at school, like just a lot of people around were talking about it. But I really think there was actually what's happening. They were just trying to scare like us or something like that.
Right, okay.
So I was quite in a shock, but I still knew that maybe it will come.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so it's the 24th of February 2022. We're a few hours into the war. There are already Russian troops in Kyiv. You've worked out that you need to do certain things like get fuel and petrol. What did you do next? What happened from there?
Main idea was it's move where it's safe, and of course, when it started like full invasion, it's already curfew. It's the borders they close for man. They can't leave country. That's why we just decide to go in a border with Moldova, and then from there decide how we can carry on and go to Israel, because it was COVID restriction.
Yes.
Yeah, it was still COVID restriction in Israel, and we need to wait until 2nd of March, be somewhere, but we really don't want to stay in Ukraine. Yeah, and we just we decide with my husband, we just need to pack and go in the border and see what's happened. Most difficult was its packing. Yes, it's because you don't know what you need to put in your suitcase, and we don't know how long. We not understand which, because when you think about war, you back to the films, back to some stories what happened in Second World War, and understand if something like will be bombed or we need to stay somewhere, it's need to be a suitcase, something small, and I can carry because I will be just with Yeva and like that. And yeah, we just decide to stay. 24th we stay in Cherkasy, and then we
That's
move.
your home city?
Yes, home city. And then we, in the next day, in 25th, in the early morning, when its curfew was cancelled, how it's correct, we just start to our journey to border to Moldova.
Yeah, okay. And that a long drive to Moldova?
In general, if it's a normal time, it will be like 6-7 hours, but we spend more than 12 hours for that. And because my ex-husband cousin, she lived in a city in a border with Moldova, we decided to stay in her house for a little bit. And but because it was a city in a border, the people in a city decide to close their city because it's a lot of demand.
Lots of people were coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when we was in our way, the main road was bombed, and we decided to change our direction.
The road you were on was bombed.
Yes, and we change our direction and we drive to another way, and that's why it was longer. It's a lot of people, queues, and it's difficult to buy something, the same petrols and basic thing like a charger or something like that. It was absolutely, it was really difficult.
So but why didn't you pick up the story from there? You've arrived at this city on the border between Ukraine and Moldova. Obviously, your intention is to get across the border, but tell us what happened from arriving at that city to getting across the border.
Well, we drove to my dad's cousin house. We spent the night at the bathroom because it was a lot of sirens, and it was extremely scary because it was just first few days.
Yeah.
So we spent the bathroom.
Do you mean air raid sirens?
Yeah. And we spent on their bathroom floor all the night, and then in the morning we just walked to the border because we couldn't go in the car, and we really didn't need to go in the car. So we just crossed the border, and how my mom said he wasn't allowed man, so I just said goodbye to my dad. It was quite emotional, but still had to carry on. So we just crossed the border, and then we try to find some way to get to different cities, find where we can stay, because it was it wasn't anything, nothing was booked.
Yeah.
So it was pretty hard. And then we found this man, and he just said, "Hi, do you want help?" And I can't remember from there, but I think my mom will remember it more.
Yeah, do you want to pick up what happened?
Oh, in the border, we thought we will be going Chisinau, sorry. It's a different pronunciation.
That's a Moldovan city?
Yeah, capital.
The capital.
Capital, yes. And from there to Bucharest, because Bucharest is Romania capital, and we plan to fly from there.
To Israel, because you're trying to head to Israel all this time.
Yes. But then it's a lot of people in the border, they all try to help people, and it was nice, and it was something that happened, and we met this man, Mikhail. He just helped us. He find apartment in another city, not in Chisinau, but we were there, spent a few days there, and he helped us to cross the border and go to Romania, and
it's really kind. It must have been a time where a lot of people were relying on the kindness of strangers.
Yes, a lot of cars, a lot of people just was open their houses for us because they understand. But interesting, this Mikhail, his daughter, she lived that time in Moscow, in Russia, and he every time says it can't be this way. It can't be Russia. It's something happens wrong. It's some political games, and he continue help us, but he stay in his position. It's not Russian people. It can't be that, you know. And it's interesting. It's a lot of people think in this way, because I worked with my clients was from Russia, and when I call them in 25th and say we need to just not work with you, you know, we want to cancel all our relationships with you. We don't want, and they say no. It's not we. It's not we. We don't know. It's something happened in your country. It's not we.
So these are Russians that you had been working with who really didn't believe that
Russian
it was,
businessmen. They say it can't be we. No. It's something there. We don't know yet, but not tell that it's we. It was really strange. Really strange.
Yeah. So you're trying to get to Israel. You eventually get to Israel. Tell us from what happens from there.
We've been like a few days in Moldova and then a few days in Romania. The main idea, what I plan, like to show Yeva, it's like a vacation, you know, just she's not stressed, everything okay. We just go, oh, it's great museum. Can we do this? Can we do that? Have a food, you know, just something. I'm try to not scare her.
So you were putting on a brave face, really, to help Yeva not to be scared.
Oh yes. Yes.
Did it work?
Yeah, it really does work. It really did work. I was just thinking that everything was like books like a year ago or something, and we were fine. We were just traveling around, and it was already, everything was planned. Like nothing was just like spot on, like straight away, just doing like something what first came to mind. Just.
You felt like it was all kind of planned out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mariia, how were you coping emotionally at this point? Because it's hard work, I guess, to try and plan all of these movements to keep a brave face on for your daughter. You know, were you conscious of what was going on in Ukraine? Were you keeping up with that while you were in Moldova and then in Bucharest? How were you coping?
I understand somewhere behind, you know, like in a deep in me, I really want to cry and all this, but I can't, because I just need to do this all stuff. That's all.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah. So you fly to Israel.
Yes.
Okay. You don't stay in Israel for very long at this point, do you? Tell us what you were doing after being in Israel.
Yeah, the next step was I discover, I start to explore more variants in Europe, and our friends move in Poland, and they just say, I have something for you, like a room if you want to stay somewhere, just come here and see what's happened. And another things, I was a partner in the marketing agency in Ukraine, and we plan, and I understand the first step, the first important thing is education for Yeva. I need to find the place where Yeva can carry on with school.
So you're looking for a country and a city to settle in long term at this point.
No,
is
like
that right?
settle in, but for like 6 months, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I understand it's need to be like this. It's not like 1, 2, 3 months.
Yes.
That's why Poland was my first choice, because it's like easier language for us, and it's near the border, and the people there, Ukrainians a lot, and it was great for business, really. They was good program for business, and I decided to stay with my parents-in-law in Israel, and I moved to Poland to understand what there, find the place, and Yeva will join me there.
Okay.
But no.
So not Poland. Did you look at other places?
Yeah, just have a list. UK not was in this list.
Okay.
Because UK is always strict with rules for migration and visas.
And
yet you're here now.
Yeah.
So tell us how that came about.
I saw a post in Facebook. At the same time, it's happened that my ex-husband and my business partner, they sent the same post to me. It was interesting. It's post about this Homes for Ukraine program in UK, and Jo Brook, who in our church, her friend, she lives in Cherkasy, and I know this friend, and she posts like, I have a few families, and we open if you're interested in this program. And in England, like, wow, we need to try that. It's always, how I said before, it's so a lot of restriction with visa, and if we can have this chance to be here, why not?
Yeah, great. So through that, I know that you were connected with Andrew and Judith Stewart, who live here in Oughtibridge. Yeah. They were one of these families offering a home for a Ukrainian family to come and stay with them.
Yeah.
You made that connection. What was that like then? Did you have kind of phone calls? Did you, as you prepared to come and move over here, what was that experience like?
Oh, it was really interesting because, my English when I just come here, it was absolutely basic. If people from Ukraine will be looking at that, my level English was London is the capital of Great Britain. That's all, nothing more.
So you hadn't heard of Sheffield then?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And then when we decide about this program, I filmed the form and we wait for someone will be message me and I understand, I need a big city because my business, company is so important for me and I want to actively carry on with clients, with everything. And was main idea always need to be a big city. And then when Judith messaged me first time, and she says, Sheffield, Sheffield. And then I messaged my husband, Sheffield. And he, football fan, and he said, I don't know about Sheffield at all.
Okay, clearly our football teams don't make it up to...
And my business partner just Sheffield. I hope it's near some big, Manchester, okay, it's work. Yes, it's work for us. Yeah, it was fun. First conversation, we just emailed each other, and it was easy because I can use a Google Translator and understand, a little bit more. Then we have a call together. It was absolutely strange. You can ask them. And I was in an apartment in Poland, and this apartment was for, these drivers who stay for one day and then carry on with big lorries. And it's this base. And it's absolutely not nice place.
Sure.
That's all. Yeah, it looks not nice. And then Judith, after that, we talked with her and she said, when I call you first and saw that, where are you? Oh my God, where she spent her time? Why is she there? It's some strange place. She said, I want to help you more after that.
Okay. So Yeva, tell us, how were you feeling about the thought of moving from Israel to the UK?
Well, I didn't really like that because I hate my English lessons in Ukrainian school. It was just boring for me. And I was just English, no, thank you. And I liked it in Israel because I had a friend there. She's my aunt and she's 2 years older than me.
Oh, right. Okay.
Which is really nice. So I had somebody there who I could speak to, and everybody just loved me there, and they could speak Russian there. So it was
a hard thing to think about, actually, for you moving over to the UK.
And I would love to stay in Israel, but then I realized I had no choice, and I just had to cope with it.
Yeah. Okay. So you fly over to Manchester, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What date are we at now? When are you flying?
30th of April.
30th of April.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us about those first few days settling into a new place, a new village, a new home. What was that like?
What is it?
Well, it was quite hard for me because I had zero English. And it was just I would think that was quite good English before that. But then when I just came to UK, I was just that's what English is. And I couldn't communicate with Judith or Andrew because it was with Judith was more easier because she tried to speak more easier. And but still it was quite hard to communicate. So I had only my mom.
Yeah.
And she was always working on doing something and me just standing there. I know.
How about for you, Mariia?
I was in a mood we need to carry on. I was in a task. Know the people, know language, try to learn language, culture thing. I understand what the big thing Judith and Andrew do for us because, it's, I'm just can't imagine how you will be place with people in your home from different countries, from different cultures in, and as well from war, with traumas, and it's really difficult. And I understand how a lot of things they give us for this 1.5 year, what we live with them. And this first days was, I was in a task, just carry on, do this. And Judith asked us about we want to go in a church in the next day, because we're coming in a Saturday and it was Sunday, straight away.
Okay.
And I yes, of course, I really want to go, because I understand where, it's really church, a perfect place, because it's kind people, first of all, and and it's people open to us, and it's nice, and it was not easy, but everything.
Okay. What did you? Okay, so we're turning to think about things of faith now. So you mentioned that Judith invited you to come along to church with her. You were interested in that because it's a good place to kind of learn English, get to know people, that kind of thing. What experience did you have of Christianity before that? Were you coming already kind of feeling positive about Christian things, or what?
In general, about Christianity, it's always positive things. It's good things, but it's different different religion, because in Ukraine we have Orthodox Church, and it's completely different thing. In our Orthodox Church, they speak in a old Slavonic language, and it's not real. They not really preach. They just praying, and you not understand about how it's work and another thing.
Is that so? You literally couldn't understand because it was a different language.
Literally,
oh, wow. Okay.
It's before war, the most churches in Ukraine, Orthodox Church, they was in a Moscow Orthodox Church, and their rules, and they speak in this old language. When there was before war, we have a few Ukrainian churches where the people speak in Ukrainian, but it's still really, it's not. No. In Ukraine, we not be in a faith actively. We have experience with the Torah, I've learned the Hebrew a little bit about that, and always I'm look for Christianity in general. For me, know about that, like a science, not really believe in something.
Okay. And so had you had much experience with the church in Ukraine? I mean, you didn't, I'm sensing you didn't go regularly.
Oh, no.
Did you?
No.
So what sort of experience had you had?
I personally try a few times, but every time it's absolutely horrible, because when the people die in our country, you always need to have a priest from church, and it's always about money. It's never ever about faith, and especially when it was in my personal experience case with my granddad, and when the priest do his job, not really care about the people when your relatives die, and it's really difficult situation, and then he just worried about money. It's really sad. And then after that, when Yeva was baptized, the same story. When when it's a couple's godparents, and you need to pay for one godparents couple, or if you want two, you need to pay more. If you want three, you need to pay more. It's something strange. It's not about faith. It's about money. That's why.
That's sad.
It's really sad. It's really sad.
Okay. So, do you remember your first service?
Yes.
Tell us about that, Yeva.
It was old age service. I found it pretty boring because
Sorry.
because I didn't understand any of it. I didn't listen, and it was quite long for me. Just stay on one place, because I just wanted to do all the time. I just wanted to do something.
Yeah.
Just I didn't want to stay on one place all the time, and I just could stay on my place. It's at school, because I didn't have any other choice.
Okay. Did you feel I was boring and too long as well?
No. For me, it was. I was absolutely true. I'm not listening what you say because I can't understand.
Fair enough.
But I'm like, this old church, like, oh wow, the people.
Yeah.
It's something new for me. It was like adventure for me,
Yeah.
and it's green, and I can read and something like understand. Oh, I know this word. I was so happy. To
maybe understand more of the language than you did back home.
It just was new experience.
Yeah. So tell us, how did your involvement with church develop from there, either of you?
Well, you go.
Okay, I will start. The really significant things, it's happened when I start to go to a small group.
Okay.
Adrian and Caroline, a little small group. Oh, it's absolutely great place to be. And still, it's every time, every Tuesday, it's my best day.
So it's a weekly meeting at their home. And what sort of things do you do in small group?
We have a nice chat.
Yeah.
First of all, and then we just discuss the topic what you preach or Michael preach in Sunday, and it's nice because every time when I think about church, every time in my head, church is about an incher, the people who good people, and they do a lot of great things, and I'm not really good person when I think about myself. It's people. It's these people. They too good for me. And I'm not in this society. But then when I was just start discuss all this, I understand the same like me, and important things. Where I'm still a young Christian, and these people to read Bible like years and years, but we struggle with same thing, and we look for the same, verses, and they find there's something new, the same like me. It's not like, they will be boring, or for me it's awkward to ask something because they know more. But no, at all. It's great in conversation and in small group you can discuss and understand how this Bible and verses you can really use in your life day by day basis, and we share our behavior. I think it's not correct word, but what we do day by day and how it's working in our life, and it's absolutely great and encouraging.
Oh, brilliant to hear that. How about you? Small group was significant for you as well, I think, wasn't it?
It was really helping me, like the small group, when I just started. Was it year 6, year 7? I think it was year 7.
Year 7, yes.
Yeah, it was year 7.
Yeah.
When I started year 7, I was still I started to go to guides, not really a long time ago. And I had some friends there. But then I have a friend from church, Alicia, and she invited me to go to small group, it's going to be fun and all that stuff. And there was pizza there.
Pizza.
So, pizza.
Winner.
Why not? And in guys, they give you nothing about the food, so why not? And I had a lot of questions at that time about faith. I was just like, oh, what about that and that and that? But I never asked anybody about them because I felt kind of embarrassed. I didn't know the answers to them or something like that. I could ask something about my mom, but still, I was just I was a little bit embarrassed about it. So I thought small group would be actually nice because I just knew a few people from there. So it wouldn't be that much.
Yeah.
They knew me, but I didn't know them. So
Sure, yeah. So a good place for you to ask those questions and get pizza.
Yeah. And Sunday Club really helped me because of because of my first one was all age, I didn't want to go anymore because I thought I would be bored again. But I couldn't stay home alone. So it was, and Andrew, he usually works on Sunday. So I usually couldn't just stay home. But if he was at home, I was just like, yes, thank you.
Okay. But Sunday Club was good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I just started to go to Sunday Club, yes, I still didn't understand language properly what I understand right now. But still, it was fun because we did some games, we did more activity things, and we didn't read Bible that much. We just discussed it more than read it, I would say. And I didn't really look into the word. Sometimes I tried to sneak and play on my phone because I was bored and didn't understand anything.
Yeah. But at some point, you've said to me before, at some point you you started kind of listening in a new way to those things at Sunday Club and at small group as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I kind of just one time I was just like listening, and in a way it just clicked to me that I should listen.
Yeah.
And then I started to listen more and more like, I don't know, just listen and try to understand it, and just trying to more understand it. And after that, I started to really like get into the words, kind of try to understand, because the Bible, like the words are quite tricky. Yeah. So, and sometimes I could just translate it or something like that at home if I just like remember about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I know that at some point you each became a Christian. That is, you started to believe the things that you were hearing about Jesus and what he had done for you. Was that something that kind of happened on one particular day for you, or was it more of a gradual thing? Tell us about how that happened for you.
For me personally, when you face on this situation in your life, like with war and everything what's happened, and then you read the news, and then I'm just understand I'm in a great place with absolutely great people around, and who kind and nice to me, and a lot of things happen here, like not just Judith and Andrew first of all, the big thing, and the church. It's a lot of happened with my work here and other things, and then I'm just think how it can be if it's not God, how, and it was my first main thing, and then of course I'm just continue to develop all my knowledge and read more, and have these courses like Christian Explorer and then Encounters, and just carry on with all that, because it's not one day, it's day by day questions. And especially when I'm surrounded people who not believe in nothing really, like my all family in Ukraine and my friends and my colleagues, and nobody really in faith. And you need not just to understand by yourself, you need to explain to them why. It's great exercise, truly. When you read something and then explain people, and it's absolutely.
Yes, because you mentioned to me that you were having calls with your colleagues on Mondays and Wednesdays. Right?
We have a calls each day, but in particular on Monday and Wednesday they start about, we discuss what I've learned before on Sunday or on Tuesdays in a small groups, because it's absolutely new thing for me, because Bible, it's like the same thing like in Ukraine, but it's different little bit meaning. And when I say the conversation we start, guys, the truly meaning about that is like this, and wow, yes, and we all Ukrainians will look for answer because why it happened with us, why war happened with Ukrainians, why it's it's difficult to find an answer for that, and but through Jesus, for me personally, I find this answer.
I remember actually, we haven't talked about this, but I remember you mentioned you did the Encounters course. I remember one evening you coming and talking to me after that, because the day before a helicopter had fallen on a school in Ukraine, and you were asking, how do we understand, suffering and why God allows it, and that, it's very kind of real stuff you were living through and having to work out your faith in the context of those things going on in life. It was a hard time.
But I think it's without Jesus, without church, and I'm just I don't know how will be survive. And I know Ukrainians who continue really struggle here in UK and in the different countries because they not find their answers. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeva, the same question for you. Gradual, one day. How did it happen for you?
Well, it was a step-by-step thing, I would say, because like it just was kind of, I just started to like, because before like I went to church, because of social media, I knew about there was God, there was Jesus, there was hell, there was heaven. I knew this stuff, but I didn't really like thought of that. I just knew it. But then when I started to like look at it and understand like more what it meant like in social media and like oh, that looked a little bit different, and then I started to more like think about it, and like because I felt like it was in school, so like if you were saying something that's must to be true because you're like a teacher, and then I actually was just like, and then in school there was RE, and because of different we were talking about different religions like Buddhism or something like that. And I started to like understand how different it is, and that I would like I would more like believe in Christianity and everything what you taught, church and me. And yeah, it really was like a step-by-step thing, and especially it really affected the Good Friday in
Good Friday service.
Yeah, Good
This
Friday
year, 2024, or that Good Friday service? Yeah. 2023.
2023. 4. I don't know. Yes,
one of them.
Well, okay, anyway, tell us about that Good Friday service. What was significant about that?
It was like kind of when you give like in church, you said like the pennies getting dropped and all that.
Yeah.
I realized when I was thinking about the Good Friday, it was like I was listening to like the story, like that Jesus died, that you said and everything, that he died for us. Like what I heard like a billion times before, but I didn't really think of that. But then when you were just preaching it, like the pennies got dropped, and it got quite emotional. Like I started a little bit cry, and it just got into me, and yeah, it was like I can be Christian before that, like a little bit before that, but I still like felt it was like a big piece in it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Mariia, similar for you?
Yeah, the same this day. I don't know, it was significant for both of us, this Good Friday. When you understand, read, learn, everything okay. But then when you feel, it's absolutely different things. And we both was we absolutely understand and feel in a heart how Jesus do the great things for us. And
it's like when you sing, sorry. It's like when you in church, you just sing a song, and you just read the words and you just sing it. But then when you actually but then one day you just look at the words and you think about them, you start to more like feel it.
Yeah.
And it kind of just gets to your heart, like it cuddles your heart.
Absolutely, I know what you mean.
Cuddles your heart.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean, though. Totally know what you mean.
Yeah, I think this, what Yeva says about this penny was dropped. This is great. We use in a small group a lot of time this story.
The penny's dropping.
Yes, because I think each of us facing a lot of challenges in life, and you just carry on with all that. But then when you look through Jesus on all this, and you really understand, and you see your life, you look on your life in a different prospect, and like, oh wow! Like today in a Sunday, yes, it was about worship to Jesus, and we every time say that. Then for me, it's today was a little bit in different context, and it's like, oh, wow. But we say these words like 1,000 billion times, and like, oh yes, You know, like, oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
today, yes, correct word for me.
Yeah. Sometimes, it just means something different and
Yes.
new, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
understand
yeah,
it more
yeah,
deeply.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, tell us, how has becoming Christians changed and affected your lives?
Well, it kind of like I was just talking to my mom like one day, and normally in the car we were driving from one of my like just lessons or something like that, like, and no, it was actually we were like dropping off one of my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only me and my mom in the car, and we were driving home, and it's like, you really changed, like, and I was just like, how did I change? Like, I'm the same person. It's like you became more kinder after Christianity.
Yeah.
And then I started to more think about it. And I actually thought about after becoming a Christian, how it actually changed me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like really miserable in my life in Ukraine. I was like I was like just living my life, didn't think of anything. I thought that I would just stay in the apartment which will live there for like all of my life, and then I would just live there with my cat and just live my life. But then how it changed everything, and it was like I thought of my life in Ukraine and I thought of my life like right now, and I actually saw big changes.
Yeah, that's great to hear. You see, you saw these changes
Oh, yes.
going on in Yeva.
Absolutely. A lot of, because, classic, she's 13, she's a teenager. But sometimes she say and do some absolutely great things what not normally teenagers do. Yeah, about kindness, kindness. And I think because we being in a position when the people be so kind to us, like Judith and Andrew, a lot of people from church, and Caroline and Adrian, and then all our small group, David, Marilyn, and I can tell a lot of names, and it was absolutely great. When the people do that to you, you want to back.
Yeah.
Absolutely the same. Like in my culture, when you want to back some good things, you cook for something for them. I cook a lot for people in church, and I'm just about faith, about Christianity. Yes, it's about kindness. Kindness not because I'm start be more kind. No, it's because it's a different point of view on the people when they angry or when something happen. I'm not like, oh, you're angry person. You understand that something happened with this person and I need to help this person because this person in difficult circumstances. And you just try to be more open. You try to more understand people, less selfishness, but still, of course, absolutely selfish person. Yeah, I'm still, I carry on with that because if, this principle of domino, when you spread negativity, it will be that, and more if you spread kind things.
Now I know that since moving here, life hasn't just then been smooth thereafter. There have been a number of other things that have happened that have been difficult for you. How has being a Christian kind of affected your engagement, your response with those difficult things that have happened?
Well,
okay, carry on.
I could say it really changed me, but it specifically, I don't know why, but I really can see it in my mom, kind of like a huge, really extremely kind change. I would say like extremely, like a big change, because when I was a kid in Ukraine, always if I did something wrong, I got really told off. Like I thought that I had the strictest parents in like the whole world.
Oh, seriously?
Because I had this time limit, and if I did something wrong, I had like she just took my phone out for like a week or something.
So we can edit all this out. It's fine, don't worry. It's okay. Go on.
And like she was just. But then when we just moved here, and I remember in the start of year 7, I got into trouble in school. It was like some guy, he just lied and told that I was bullying him or something, but I actually wasn't. Like, nothing happened. And then nobody believed me, that he just made up that story for no reason. And they just gave me a detention and a negative point in the, like, in the thing. My mom could, like, see that there's something bad. And then I thought my mom would be extremely angry at me because I thought she was, like, strict, like she was. But then she was actually extremely nice. I didn't get told off or anything. She said, like, oh, you know, I'm always going to be by your side and everything.
Yeah.
That I always believe in you and all of that. And it's fine. Like, it's not that much. It's just a detention.
There we go. You came off well from that in the end, didn't you? How about you, Mariia?
You know, in the Ukraine, I was always a person who would try things, and I'm on control. I'm on control everything what I do of my life. Carry on with do these things, career, parenting. I need to be at first. Just carry on. If something happens wrong, it's because of me. I'm not doing some things. It's because of me, and just just drive all this. But then when the war. I can't change that. You know, my absolutely how I think about all this, it was change. And like, okay, war, it's not my responsibility, but my responsibility and nothing. And I carry on as well. Everything was happened not like I'm planned.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I was frustrated. But then when I start believing in Jesus and then be a Christian, I understand I can't be on control of everything. Nothing. I'm not on control at all.
Yeah.
I'm just carry on. And oh yes, I'm just stopped to struggling. Just okay, in this way, yes, in this way.
Yeah.
And it's really changed me in this way. And when I be always independent and I know what I do and another thing, but now I need to ask permission. I'm live with people in their house and, it's every time awkward and why they do that, why I need to ask this about this help. Every time ask help. Oh, no, I'm not a person who ask help. Who helping, yes, happy, but not ask help.
Yeah.
But the God put me in a position where I need to ask.
Yeah.
But then I just look on all this situation in a different way, and it's absolutely a great way.
Yeah, there's something about being a Christian that you have to be dependent on God.
Yes.
You have to ask Him for help and be dependent on Him. Yeah. Last question for you. Tell us, what does Jesus mean to each of you now?
Yes. Okay. Jesus for me. Of course, he, first of all, it's a teacher. It's a teacher who teach me how to live this life, because I think how many books you will be read, it's in general, everything in the Bible, everything. The people the same, they struggle with the same thing. And it's, he teacher. And of course, who saved me. He absolutely my savior.
Well, for me, he's a savior too, I would say. He's a huge savior. I thought that when I looked back and this story of the Ukraine, how it just started and all that, I thought how lucky I am that nothing, I didn't get physically hurt, I would say. And I saw it as Jesus was my shield, I would say, kind of. He was and he did all of that for me. I'm just whoa, why? Just and he's, I would say I'll call him a role model.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you just read the Bible, I was just wow. And all of that happened. Sometimes you just think maybe Bible is just a fairy tale we're just reading and it's some stories with magic or something. But when you just think of it, it's actually happened and it was actually true. And he like did that and that for me. Like just be kind, I would say, like, because I was always kind of, I was kind of like, I always, I don't know, I just lived my life and I didn't thought of anything. But now I actually think about, oh, like I could do that and that, but like what, like if I have a choice, I'll think, what would Jesus do? I like asking my question like that.
Yeah, wonderful. That's so amazing to hear. Can I thank both of you so much for just opening up and sharing your story with me, with us today. It's meant such a lot, and it has been so wonderful to hear from you, but also to kind of see in real time over the last couple of years the way that God has worked through your lives, bringing you to faith in the Lord Jesus as your Saviour, as you put it. And it's a great encouragement just for us to see in the lives of people that we know how God can and does work for good, even through the most difficult, most terrible of circumstances that you faced over the last couple of years. So thank you for encouraging us and helping us to see the goodness of our God in your lives.
Oh, thank you for this, and we can share. We're so happy. Yay, thank you so much.
It's brilliant having you as part of the church. And thank you to you for watching to the end of this and joining us. We hope you've enjoyed this interview and been encouraged to see the way that God has been at work in Mariia and Yeva's lives. Thank you again to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.